Hello and welcome to another episode of the Driven Shot podcast. I am Peter Muneme, also known as Barca DNA on Twitter, and today's video will be a bit of a shorter video, not the typical style, but it will be a more in-depth discussion surrounding FC Barcelona, especially about the team as they are right now. Barca, of course, have dropped points for the first time this season, and the writing has been on the wall in terms of general performances. And so, without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So Barcelona, of course, they dropped points last night against Rayo Vallecano, drawing 1-1. Barca have not really been themselves this season, it has to be said. Hansi Flick has been very clear about this ever since the first match day of the season against Mallorca. Barca winning 3-0, but Flick had some scathing remarks about the team, mentioning that if they continued to play the way they did, that they would not win any trophies this season. He was not at all pleased with the form that the team had shown. And overall, he wanted a more streamlined version of Barca going forward. There was a real lack in terms of their intensity, their pressing, their conviction, finishing in front of goal. And he wanted a better version of Barca going forward. Now, against Levante, that was match day 2, where we did think we would see a better version of Barca, but it didn't come. I mean, in the first half, they were down by 2 goals to end the proceedings before a very impressive comeback, nonetheless, saved them, and they were able to just about get away with the 3 points there through an own goal in the 90th minute. Before then, we proceed into the third match of the season here against Rayo, where, again, in this game, Barca were flat. They did not play well. There was a real lack of possession in this team, being able to recycle the ball, being able to slow things down, being able to play through the high line there of Rayo, the press that they put forth on the team. And Barca just never really looked comfortable. Even when they took the lead, they could not put Rayo away, and in the end paid the price for it. And so we have to talk about Barca dropping points and to understand what's gone wrong so far in these first 3 games for Hansi Flick and his men, and is there cause for concern going forward? I would start by saying that the problems begin in defense for FC Barcelona. Losing Inigo Martinez was a big blow, and it may be a bigger blow than maybe even some fans might think, because Inigo really gave this team balance. Hansi Flick right now has pretty much been destabilized by losing one of his most important players when it comes to distribution out of the back. Inigo Martinez and Cubarsí do have a very good balance between the two of them, where they both have an idea of how each other wants to play. They both have a genuine bond. They understand each other's positioning, and they work in tandem when it comes to progressing the ball from the back, whether it's passes that split the lines on the ground or a long ball over the top. Those two are accustomed to working alongside each other. And so without Inigo present, Cubarsí, especially when he's being moved over to play as a left-sided center back, does seem to struggle. Now, furthermore, the issues that Barca have as well is that we haven't seen really a consistent fullback pairing either. We've seen Eric Garcia begin the first 2 games of the season. Now we've seen Koundé, we've seen Eric and Christensen both playing together in this game. And so because of so much shuffling and so much change, it does mean that this team isn't going to be perfect when it comes to their build-up, their structure, and in a smaller stadium, tight confines against a team in Rayo who are not only very, very motivated at the moment, having just qualified for the Conference League, but a team that is not afraid to be aggressive, to be physical, to press, to make teams uncomfortable, and are used to playing on a choppy pitch in front of a very, very passionate crowd. And so Barca really have suffered in terms of having that general sense of structure and calm in the back. I think furthermore, there are pressing matters as well to deal with in the attack for Barca, where especially in the number 10 position, there hasn't been a consistent outlet in that role. We've seen Rafinha play there, we've seen Firmino play there, we've seen Dani Olmo play there, and really, out of those 3, the most impressive player has probably been Dani Olmo coming off the bench against both Mallorca and Levante. Played very, very well, gave structure to Barca's attack, made them more fluid. He was able to drop into the midfield, receive the ball, play with more composure, and really he gave the attack more of a fluid motion. They were able to conduct themselves in a more cohesive manner than they were in previous displays with Firmino and Rafinha starting in that role. That being said, Olmo has often fallen short in the final third when it comes to scoring goals, getting assists. That's kind of where this season he's falling short. He's got himself into some really, really promising positions, but as we saw last night, he's not been good enough when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. He had a really big chance to make it 2-0 to Barca right at halftime. Really good chance, edge of the box, and he just skies his effort. I mean, and that sort of chance in a game like this can make the difference between you winning a game and dropping points. And so Flick does have to find some sort of solution, whether or not it depends on Olmo starting, whether it just takes time to build that confidence, that rhythm, that match sharpness up, whatever it may be, something does have to be done in that area. Likewise, in the attack, I think Barca are missing Lewandowski a lot, more so because of his general presence. I think when you do play with Lewandowski, you have somebody who is going to be imposing. You have somebody who is going to take away the attention of one or two players and make room for Rafinha, which actually helps a player like Lamine Yamal, who is so explosive, who is so dynamic, who is so good at either dribbling or passing the ball, that oftentimes there will be gaps and openings that show up because he draws so much attention. With Ferran Torres, for as good as he's been in these first two games, they're scoring goals and being dynamic, pressing well, being hungry, what he often lacks is being able to bully an opponent, being able to be reliable in the air, being able to really be imposing as a player. And Lewandowski, despite his age, gives you those assets. He is someone who is very, very dominant. He is someone who is aggressive, who is more physically imposing than Ferran Torres, and somebody who you can cross the ball into and have confidence that he can rise up there, win a header, bring the ball down, score a brilliant goal out of nowhere, and really make things happen. And so for Hansi Flick right now, there is a need to address these matters. Barcelona, in this moment in time, do not look like the team of last season. If anything, they look a little lethargic. At times, there's a degree of ego that creeps into their play when certain players are more focused on perhaps chasing individual glory than they are about trying to find their teammates in open spaces. And so right now, you're seeing a team that is just, I would say, sputtering. I don't think Barca are in crisis mode by any chance. What I think is you're early in the season and you're having a team that is trying to adapt to losing one of its key pillars in defense. You're in your second season. You've had to play 3 games away from home. And really, to have 7 points at this stage of the season after those 3 games is not something that requires a crisis. I think for Barcelona, there is concern, but not to the degree where everybody needs to panic or throw their toys out of the pram. I think right now, what Barca will benefit from is the international break. I think Hansi Flick will have to use this time to understand more about his team, his system, any tweaks or adjustments that he has to make in order to get Barca firing again. But I wouldn't be surprised if following the international break, especially with more home games, if you do see a better version of Barcelona, especially against Valencia. Now, we're not fully sure if that game will take place at the Camp Nou or at the Estadio Johan Cruyff, but either way, with Barcelona playing in front of their own fans for the first time this season, I do expect to see a cleaner version of Barca. I expect them to have their press on point. I expect them to look more dynamic, more sharp, more diligent in their play, perhaps taking better care of the ball, and maybe, just maybe, a more convincing scoreline in their matches. But that'll be it for this video today. Like I said, it is tough for Barca right now. It has been a tough start to the season, but I don't think it calls us to be in a mode of panic or of crisis. I think for Barcelona, a bit of calm is needed. There are glaring errors that need to be taken care of. There are issues in the team when it comes to structure and balance and have to be addressed. But nonetheless, I'm confident in Hansi Flick and his players that they will be able to get things under control before too long, especially with the Champions League looming on the horizon. So that'll be it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being present here as always. Feel free to leave your comments down below and I will speak to you very, very soon. So until then, take care, stay safe, and Visca Barca.